you get. Moreover, I have little control, staring at the enticing brown mole on her upper lip, pierced of course and wanting to kiss it, and the protruding nipples pierced too under the t-shirt with the FC UK Connection fashion logo. Oh, how I wanted to tweak those nipples, but when I tried, she batted my hand away, saying, "Silly boy, not here in the office." Well, it was nice to see that she at least had a modicum of morality, sensibility. So few do these days, but back to the current situation. After succeeding at inserting my organ in my true loves, I yelled, "Bats and rats!" which usually gets her excited. Then, "Let's go for it!" which makes her both compulsive and competitive. Whenever I shout the latter, she tries to be the first to come. But to be honest, I wasn't quite ready to go for it just yet. The spikes in her nipples were hooked into the rings through mine. I had to back off above without pulling out below. It was a bit like a tricky maneuver in a parking lot. There were also the bugs in her hair. I don't know what charms her about them, and the thugs and the drugs we had taken earlier. "Miss Molly wants your money or she'll drive a straight stake through your heart," they seem to be saying. Well, a little downer called Red Doll drove the ecstatic Miss Molly away, at least for the moment. But then I saw a look on her face I had seen before. "I'm rid to death," she whispered, darkly, then screamed, "Don't die on me, big boy, don't die!" I didn't know whether she meant me, the person, or my organ, the other me, if you will. But at this point, I guess that it is a bit of unnecessary philosophical speculation. She is only a little bipolar, and I knew the mood would pass if I could make her come and come soon. Bats in the belfry, bedlam in the bower, make me, break me in the dark tower. I shouted to keep her excited. "Don't die on me, love, I'm so afraid," she shouted back. I guess she did not mean the real me and not just my big hip. That was heartening to hear. I aimed to tame her fear with love, and I was not lame in doing so. Long and lustful, with thrust after thrust, I gained her trust. Polished metal to rust and dust, I beat the beast in the dark tower till all was warm and wet and wonderful. "Ah!" she screamed, as though I were driving a stake through her heart and nailing her to a cross, the ultimate piercing experience. Molly and the fishhooks were doing their jobs. The Red Doll must have decided to follow me up. My love's eyes glowed like two mad torches in the dark. Frankly, I was afraid someone would call the police, as they once had when I used a whip on her. But slowly she calmed down. Tender shit, tender fucking shit, she sobbed as she drifted off to sleep. She looked positively comatose as the snoring began. I loved it. I went to the bathroom to wash the dung off my tongue and to staunch the bleeding. Tender shit indeed, I said to myself later as I too drifted off to sleep, wondering how others did the dark deed without pain and blood. Do we know what they were missing? If we use as half authentic, what this would cause. Mend it.
My heart! Oh my God, I couldn't hear it.
All right.
Louis, you fell down.
Fell down.
You say that's from Shakespeare.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I know. I just couldn't hear the whole thing. Thank you.
There you go. Well done.
Yeah.
You're around for Chris, please. Jack, please. Thank you. Just be loud here. I want to hear you.
It's called a medical transcription. To a lover in the hell of the free. My bod, all ecstasy when with yours it merges myself, not self, but when part of ourselves. Your bod sits and moves to business, tunes, fingers one at a time, long, familiar pattern. Digits find the chords of music's rapture, relish folks, once freedom suffered, capture, days sitting still, hour upon hour, illused and blue, and tomorrow, what today is done. Before computer screens, fates are slattern, bodies that could immortal dances, boogie, bodies to swim, run, skate, bike up the hill and down, all stock, static, stodgy, still, stuck, thanks to technology. Obey it urges. Motility natural to all, animal life now denied. So long we have to work in camp before we die. Our fingers, the more musical keyboard glide. So long we have to think trauma, disease, death, can't even own our inspirations, breath, our imaginations, foolishness, or our pride. Must useless darlings live as long as they'll live. The tainted liquid in the fluid seas where our very life was wont to bloom. Who will bring technology to its knees? Who will be together now with old alone? End of science, business go ball, inspiration grows gaspacious. But should people gasp up dope, it's fired, it's jail, not only gracious. What seemly answer to feelings higher leaves competing back to father's turn, leaves analysis to contingent fire, perfidy of the reaper to the worm. When plus or lusts are vouched more hot, man knows less clean than each rare, as what becomes not how much got will mollify hope's outrage there. The starting pint of scenic swill, the poet staggers on the shore to avoid as much of self-harm spill as possible is now evolved. Though unblatantly employed as though the spirit weren't annoyed, so much time's lost from poetry, let verse forego futility. Tomorrow, while we list the grievous tales of this one's maladies, what that one ails, I'll dwell on every fresh delight of you, all forms of vitality and dew, while through my earphones Dr. A intones his nostrum for the dowager Miss Jones. I'll be half lost in thinking about when we'll lie in bed together once again. I snugly up to your caressing, which for revivifying can't repeat. As I get all the latest on the bladder of Bailiff Smith, how Father Cross went madder upon his psychotropic ink, I'll contemplate the contours of your butt. His fingers tickle now, no more than plastic, may soon caress your sexy curves, fantastic. So shocked into that wondering, which type prose reports upon the warts, upon the nose of burgers rich enough to well defray. Huge fees were from these docks, small ways to pay. My heart, yet with my wandering wits, goes out and finds you, hugs you. There can be no doubt, so that my mind affects not even a pout to hear Sergeant Doyle swear of This is called turmeric. I love to wheel everywhere on grass. We play piano in your room. I see a panoply of people pass, and you savor steady solo bloom. I know elating vim invigorates, you party though with spirits of grace, with timeless music geniuses confer, for which some peace and quiet can differ. I only like to leap the late night curbs and veer downhill to swerve through some warm herbs, for that's no way for bookish types to act. I fear your friends are loony, that's a fact, means to laces exercise with risk, and pedal over sunny hillsides brisk, though often highs of runners 64 are spiked with wild drift.
Owen, Ann, Stephanie, and Laura, and Jack. Just nice job, buddy. Laura. All right.
Can everybody hear me?
What did you say?
Yes.
Can everybody hear me? This is a cafe
cafe triest.
Oh, sorry, that was somebody, that was the previous person, sorry.
To be a triestano, that is a conoscente. You are solemn, tough, happy, pedantic, profound, and are enjoying every second of your peculiar sovereignty. You have invented your own state of things. You're a sports fan and are conventional. That is, I see that you as conventional insofar as you are normal. And have the normalcy to cry at funerals and rejoice at weddings. You're happy in your normalcy as it stands to reality and the glories of your imagination. Agnus Dei, after Robert Lowell. Apart from it all, I sit in a small corner. I see things with my eyes. A few suited passers-by. This is the Cafe Trieste. The title to this poem comes from sacred music, a prayer. Agnus Dei means Lamb of God. I search for a metaphor. This whole cafe is a poem I could not write. The tables are filled with people. There are no metaphors around. Nothing. Grant Street is quiet, and that is that. There is emphasis on emptiness without a poem. I heard myself, am I limited or are they? Whose confused confession is it, mine or theirs? Called The Fallen Shoe, a poem in prose. A cup of curds captivates the soul of the bellet of balls and balustrades. Capture the sound of shoes as they mutter their squeak with impossible aloofness. Shoes are the men on the street to the dandified boots, the impression they give of the self-made Jamesian American aristocrat. Out to show the world of ordinary shoes, what the streetwise proseur is all about. They lift the not worn out wearer to braggadocio and, yes, profundity. I feel sorry for this poem. I wander as Ishmael, wander through the lonely day, try as I may to be. My knowledge sits on a mountain, high above the furtive ends and ways. Nothing alone, nothing. I'm the opposite of alone. I wander like a bone to be fed to a dog. A cur does not purr like a cat. I am trapped like a rat in a cage. I feel no rage. I'm as stationary as a sage. This is one page of poetry that is an attempt at metaphor without logic. I feel sorry for it, for it is pedagogic. I am the poet I dream about. The morning of the fate of the stars. I feel stripped of the cares and the stares of the many. People walk by. I sigh for their wishes. That is, I think they wish and are glad they are here and nothing more than the air. My thoughts are one with the sun, and they try to reach the evasive moon that hides from the day and coldly wishes us good night. I'm stuck with myself, alone, and with nobody else. Is the poet a dreamer? I dream, and I know how many sides a one-dimensional brown triangle has. At the beach, the dark traces of the shadows of seagulls' wings. Those ruffled rococo titans, the waves, salute the empty tide pools, shiny as shy mirrors. A Baroque evening as introspective as snowfall. The desire to be a poet is the desire to live in a garden of rose bushes with thorns we call the physical world. Which lines have a truth all their own? The possibility of metaphysical questings? I looked out the window and asked my hand to see more failings in the natural world than I can in the late afternoon. Thou mildewed rainfall and sunlight on my outstretched palm. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, Mr. John. All right, the next set we have is Ann coming up next, Stephanie, Laura, Jack. It looks like Aaron, is am I right?
Yeah.
Aaron, okay. Then Chris, then some guy named Daniel, and then Charles. And then there would be the feature, but we don't have one, so we'll take a nice little break and come back to you with all students and be awesome mustard. Or
Okay, oh,
oh yeah, you're gonna do the
yeah, okay, real quick, okay.
Okay, but you really gotta get because they're not gonna hear.
Okay. Okay, I wasn't here for a couple weeks. I had a kidney infection, unfortunately. I actually saw a cadaver in the E-room, so bad day.
Too much information.
Yeah, too much. Anyhow, I couldn't get this to you in time, but there's a series of events that the Revolutionary Poets Brigade has been putting on, and they're free. Except they ran into a glitch at the Mission Cultural Center, and after they'd signed a contract, they discovered that they had to pay them, so they're asking for a $5 donation on the, let's see, on the 20th at the Mission Cultural Center. So there's different social justice issues with speakers and poets and several state poet laureates and city poet laureates and just regular old poets. Let's see, we've got food justice, hunger, sustainability, immigration justice, multiculturalism, racial profiling, prisons, social justice, how we get there. The wind-up on the 24th is at the Corette. So, and the other ones are the Unitarian Universalist Church. They're all free, like, except for this mission one. But you can get in if you don't have the money. But if anybody would like any, did you have
The flyers will be right up here.
Okay. So, let's see. I was reading from my book, San Francisco First Wave Punk and Industrial, 1976 to 81. Punk eye candy, a super soul food. So this was about the surrealist take on beauty. Olga Divolga looked awesome in her motorcycle leathers. She wore them at her day job, leading funeral corteges on her motorcycle, and also on stage playing bass with the popular punk reggae group The Offs and the all-girl Versus. Combining outlawry with futuristic thinking, she took the inspiration for her look from Atom Age Fetishwear magazine and NASA. She said, "Total leather's a prelude to spacesuits. I'm ready to go up. I've already applied for astronaut training." When Versus sang, "Only salvation for a new race, one way out of this place, dressed in leather, ready for space," the call of Olga's new space-age frontier became real for us too. Olga's cohort, Leo Zaleta, wore t-shirts and leather pants as they rode their motorcycles together. In the late 70s, Leo's arms and legs were covered with all black tattoos based on the bold, interwoven designs of the Iban Pacific Island tribesmen. He was the first to wear them and had originated the style working with tattoo artist Don Ed Hardy when Leo had combined hot rod and bike culture stylized flames with the primitive tribal motifs. On a mission to share his passion for the Iban body art, he collected photos and graphics of the tattoos for Xerox booklets he disseminated. Some of his striking fetishwear images ended up on punk posters. Georgia Versus threw humdrum beauty back on itself with a vengeful humor and created her own onstage outfits, making menacing-looking electronic jewelry from computer parts, she said. "I started getting more and more dangerous putting these points on them so they're sticking out. They're not like this whole seductive thing of jewelry so someone will come up and lick your gold chains. They'll stab you, they'll scratch you." And serious about the art of provocation, she also initiated the fashion police at the Deaf Club, writing up tickets critiquing outfits that were too boring. Not content with just taking pictures, photographer Ruby Ray decided it was time to unleash some of her own fashion mayhem. Getting ready for a hot party, she made a dress of aluminum foil sewn onto a frame of plastic net, which started to rip before the evening was over. She laughed and went home early, making a mental note to buy the heavy-duty roll next time. 50s and 60s, thrift store fashion gave us some incredibly cheap, outlandish props to play with. And we liked to trash up the past, knowing the glamour queen look had a lot more allure when worn with a little street mileage on it. And we mixed it up for an art brut clothing collage. We live on the leavings of this society on its soft white underbelly, said Fritz of the Mutants. Detritus. No one else wanted it. And we were so poor that rubbish became our splendid booty. The plunder of junk and thrift stores, church jumble sales, and dumpster dives became the inspiration for our personalized escape maps from the reigning commodity culture. The mutant Sally Webster became the undisputed winner of the Mission thrift store sweeps when she found a bright green fuzzy turtle patterned coat and matching hat on the racks. But she finally outdid herself when she shape-shifted from demonic child to demonic housewife for a damaged magazine centerfold. Sultry and zoftig, she reclined on a bed dressed like a Raggedy Ann, wearing dark glasses and wielding a scrub brush. The negligent domestic goddess had forgotten to clean up several piles of puppy poo, which a photographer Sue Brisk managed to catch in the shot. Even though the singer might be shirking her housewifely duties, she knew she was ravishing nonetheless, and just too divine. Punk's explosive energy and its aftershock spawned a sinuous new life form that pulled itself out of the muck and goo. As musicians and performers twitched, shuddered, and convulsed on stage, loosening their inner chains, the audience traveled with them. Turning themselves inside out, they challenged us to take the leap. Like Zeb, shaman of words and industrial drumming, swinging and banging garbage can drums, twirling milk jugs in the air, clanging pots and pans with heavy metal chains, while bringing us to the threshold of transformation. And the ever-smiling Carla Mad Dog, the world's only black girl punk drummer, shaking us all up, pounding non-stop excitement and pouring sweat. Let's see. Performance artists, I'm almost done. Performance artist Joanna went strapped on dildos and wore phantasmagoric costumes with extra bodies and heads attached, decorated with pubic-haired baby dolls, and rigged with hoses spraying green vomit and blood. She'd shrivel up under the one part of a costume, flip it inside out, and spring back as another character. Like the backwaters of a dyspeptic dream, the stage was filled with layers of rubbish modern products and countless stuffed creatures she'd made. Death and birth were themes she wove together with junk and animal byproducts. Wailing like a banshee in labor, she forced them into our consciousness, peeling away layers. I have one more. Is that okay? Yeah. Paragraph. Okay, that's over. Performing on stage and carousing in the streets night after night, audacious punks displayed the pyrotechnics of a shocking new aesthetic. Digging deep into our dreams, we woke up burning with excitement. Committed to bold new beauty and life free of constraints, punk culture brought never before heard of desires into the bland territory of daily life. For us, there were no preconceptions, and the reverberations of that hard-won freedom continued to rock, jolt, and shake our consciousness.
All right, so Stephanie, then Laura, then Jack, then Aaron, Chris, some guy named Dan, and then Charles will entertain us.
Keep it on the fringe.
Keep it on the fringe. The fringe on the steering wheel.
I love this painting, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
It's yours for $5,000.
The red over the eye.
Only?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's worth it. Okay, so it was clear in Davis today, and I got to Richmond on a boat, and it was like total foggy coming in. And anyway, in that vein, here's this poem. Even as he recedes into the distance, the demon looks back, ready to engage. But I hover only high enough to witness his departure in ethers, mingling with reasonableness. I suspect the air will eventually clear, but grave doubt pervades the damaged package of love. What do I see, brother and sister poets? Is it a play going according to a script, or a demon genius catenation of a dance he invents along the way? That involves me and what I do. I feel I am a function of him. I feel a function of him less and less as he goes, and so find bits of calm in the slow return of self. There is joy there where obsession truly lives. And I remember the line I wrote myself, that I'd rather be doing the grueling work than sitting by the phone waiting for him to call. Make no mistake, I'd answer it. But I'd like to think that I am cutting the ropes that bind you slowly, and eventually freedom will allow for me to act on life rather than react to it. For now the demon tickles me with a long feather from far away. He revels in my agony and pleasure as he sails away at light speed. I will stay angry and depressed only so long in this world. My stomach is growling with hunger and calling me to awaken. I will go where poets congregate and angels bring platters filled with ideas to fill the soul. Periods of clear vision lengthen with his increasing distance. May I remember this when sorrow and self-hate come calling. A heavy machine made of iron and steel pounds away, hour after hour, day after day, shrinking the size of self-esteem, shrinking the size of men and women, pounding away youthful entitlement, obliterating love before it even gets started, containing imagination within its own designated confines. This machine from hell, gargantuan, eager to take the babies it needs and discard the rest to ghettos, defines the very meaning of unfettered ambition. Powered by lies, it hammers science to fit its needs as all the world crumbles and amazing storms swirl across the oceans and wipe out populations of species, injecting chemicals and the poisons of its hatred across the globe. No heroes, no peace, no love of mankind, no animal species, no cities, no women and children, no ancient temples. Nothing survives this suicidal machinery and its gears of profit, creating and maintained by greed. We see the earth becoming cold and dark at its hands, but our thinking has been reduced in a great cauldron to a Susan pathetic servitude hooked on the two-dimensional against consciousness, which could cause a ripple in the flow of market forces. Honesty has become a stranger. The heavy machine sees to it, ever forging opinion to meet its greater goal, to dominate global markets and quench its thirst for oil and money. All we get to do is watch, to distract ourselves from watching, to numb ourselves to the agony, which is the agony of a dying planet.
Whoa! Keep it going.
Well done, as they say in France. Laura Eden is coming up now. Please give her a nice welcoming round. Thank you. Glad to see you again.
Oh, thank you. I've resurfaced a little bit. Does anybody here know that Mark Schwartz is in the hospital?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I just found out this morning. I had absolutely no idea. He was
Again,
hit by a
again, I
train.
might add.
Yeah, he was hit by a train several months ago and has lost a leg. So if anyone is inclined, you might want to send him a card to Highland Hospital. I'm not sure. He's in the intensive care unit last I read. Okay. I have 3 poems to read. I'm going to read one that David wrote in May. This was when he first realized that there was nothing that could be done for his cancer. And it's called My Light. Donkey oars kneeling in an impeached wishing. Tall when Argot does fleeting longevity. Hypnagogic Mickey Finn awakened by raindrops. Shakespeare translating mumbo jumbo. To write, I can't stop making up nightfall. It sends infinite forms, or is it just not nothing? I chainingly pulled around an 8-ball of open-mouth resuscitation, endlessly jogging inside a ribbon broken across my heart. Quizzing glows time-released virginity, once lost and found, drowning in the water of breath. I don't hush the surf by my dying now, or wave to tides lacing in impersonally their mad foam as I arise and depart. All rows on upon the nothing without me, grip over grip, climbing numbers ladder into the air, first lines thrown in gestured synchronicities, knuckling down dizzy undertows, curling up to embryo musical remotes, surprising juicy cutthroats, inhaling through the kissing deep. I leap within this dragon's nose and fly out its cannon snout, arrested by the void between empty as a forgotten dream, vampiric in the mirror of here, radiant, birthed, generosity shadows. This is an interesting, I wrote this because I went to Alcatraz with my son about 8 years ago, just in January. We were just going to do the tourist thing. This is before I moved to the West Coast. And so we were just psyched to be wearing shorts because we're from Massachusetts. And I had this really bizarre experience. And this is true, just so you know. At least it's true to me. It's called peripheral vision number 1. Radar, oblique, then a blip. He appears like a subliminal flash from the corner of my right eye in broad daylight. A ghost in a crowded room once used as a prison barbershop. Sweeping up the hair only he can see upon the floor, my right foot blazes cold as his broom connects. Excuse me, I mumble, instinctively jumping aside as he fades from view. Oblivious to my existence, he goes about his daily chores, locked in a world overlapped by mine. For him, no blip, no flash, just another day in eternity at Alcatraz. Later found out at a meeting of the San Francisco Ghost Society that other people have had the same experience, so I didn't feel quite so weird. I am weird, but that would be too bad. Okay, the last poem is very dark in honor of the fog this morning. This is actually really sad. Written by Polish Nobel laureate Wisława Szymborska. Okay. Starvation camp at Jasło. Write this down. Write it. In ordinary ink on ordinary paper. They were given no food. All died of hunger. All? How many? It's a large meadow. How much grass was there per person? Write it down. I don't know. History rounds off skeletons to the nearest 0. 1,001 is still 1,000, as if that one weren't there at all. An imaginary embryo, empty cradle. A primer opened for no one. Air that laughs and screams and grows, stares for the void running down to the garden. Nobody's place in the ranks. This is the meadow where it became flesh. But the meadow was silent as a bribed witness. In the sunlight, green, over there is a forest for chewing wood, for drinking from under the bark, a daily helping of landscape, until one goes blind. Up there is a bird that moved across lips as a shadow of its nutritious wings. Jaws opened, teeth would chomp. All night a sickle would flash in the sky, reaping dreamt-up grain for dreamt-up loaves. Hands of blackened icons would fly in, bearing empty goblets. On a spit of barbed wire, a man was swaying. They were singing with soil in their mouths, a lovely song about the way war hits you right in the heart, right about the silence. Here, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Jack and Aaron and Chris, then Robert Louis Stevenson and Charles.
Hello. I read this the last couple of times I was here, and I might read it several more times in a row. It's called Sacred Grounds. Wrote a wet poem, writ in water, dropped to and fro the bottom of the sea. Atmospheres of pressure say, we hear. And now plans above the structure of the sea. Your plans above the structure of the sea proclaim intention. This will be a poem, however wet, yet sung, and then begun. A simple part of all, meeting in the light does not escape at all. And this is just really some scribbling. Name your children Fukushima. When the pupil is ready, the teacher arrives. Beginning, not an end. Behavior, we do what others do. Religious training results in focus on others. Pure mind says to others, do what you want to do. Fear or fear not. And this is the last one. The interconnectedness of things. Yes. I have a hairbrush. It's actually 10 years old and has been used maybe 40 times. Upon close inspection, it looks like it has been used daily, full of hair and dander and dry skin and the things that grow on them. The butterfly was about to create the seed of a hurricane when one of the flecks of dry skin from my brush flew by, and the butterfly stopped, thinking it was a small distant cousin. Thus my soul. Thus my immortal soul. But there is no immortality. The too obvious con of heaven and hell, you know you can't resist, proves there is no immortality, hence no soul. Unless the soul is one's connection to existence. However distilled, there does seem to be an eternity of cause and effect. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron, then Chris, then Robert Louis Stevenson, then Charles.
McGowski?
He's yeah. Where is Aaron? He was here, said here a while back.
He's airing out his grievances back, Aaron.
Aaron is divine. I'm going to put an asterisk there when he comes. I mean, I will
do that, Dan.
Yeah. So, Chris, this will be just to you.
My name is Aaron.
I'm going to come over there.
All right, you're going to air out my Aaron.
I'm going to Aaron and divine.
Oh, yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Chris.
Our great homeboy Owen mentioned Cafe Trias. Well, this is Jack Hirschman.
I thought it was Jack.
Yeah, the way
Great job.
3 years ago, it's a sketch, but it works pretty well. My work on paper, all over, and website ChristopherTrian.com. So, enough of the poetic or the painting advertisement. This is from a book. When there's no more room in heck, the darned will walk the earth, by Zeitgeist Press a while back. AIDS. Now love can really kill. Our very blood is a straight razor in the hands of a blind, drunken idiot. And our beds have come alive again. We need no dull, obscene gladiators. Passion is the new arena. With each kiss, we test the limits of fear. There is a cannibal amok in the life force, and the night is the prelude to horror. How precious every drop of life. How pure our minds, the last unpolluted ocean. Unleash every monster. Unleash every joy. Chain death to the radiator and caress her lips with plastic. Escape in the morning this gang fight of nature. Love is a zip gun. Love is murder in the flesh of need. The roses are thrilled again to be alive. Each day is victory. This guerrilla war of tenderness. This conquest of the soul at last. Now that love can really kill, mere death can never touch us. And we need never to fear again. One more childhood. But no, that's not the right poem.
Oh, I like that.
No, do you?
Well, making it outside.
Here's one. Peace and love with fangs. The fucking carnivore mind wears black and crouches in doorways with stiletto eyes. And the black costs $300. Slick, vacuous, vacant, pointless carnivore grace, slinking in with no sex and a condom over its rage. The tigers are weeping in the walls. The father of lies paces the delivery room in tears. The lion sleeps tonight with the future in its belly. We blew it bad, my misdirected children. Lie down in beds of thorns and curse the roses for betraying your dreams as Dracula dances on your bones for profit, for the destruction of the world, for the beauty of death like a sleek Black Panther. The mind is on fire with doom. Our eyes are zippered against the dawn. Our thoughts are tattoos we wear on sleek, slick minds washed clean of frailty. Fuck this fucking carnivore mind. The flower children are gone, and so are the flowers. And the sky is made of plastic fly paper. The gods get stuck and are assassinated by real estate executives. And everyone is bored, and humanity is wasted on the humans, and the cockroaches are arming in the walls for the last cold winter, and the bacteria are arming in the blood. They ride black leather and chrome Harley Davidsons of violence up and down our veins. And love is a 4-letter curse, a mangy dog who deserves to be chain whipped to death in the street. And peace is a 5-letter word meaning suck my dick, asshole. And asshole is a 7-letter, goddamn all fucking words. The dead may be grateful, but the living are mad as hell. God damn this fucking carnivore mind. This world on fire with power. This antiseptic parody of a suicide we are forced to watch each day. This isn't life. To live is to orgasm to death in the sun on 1,000 mics of LSD. As peacock gods of ecstasy rip out your entrails, and the blood is pure and delicious, and sex is God, and poetry is food, and love is the death of religion. As the drums of war beat on the rotted corpse of the 60s in People's Park in the primal night of Kali. Off this motherfucking carnivore mind. This bleeding bone of survival in the mouth of a monster. Our eyes float in formaldehyde. Our ears are pickled in television sperm. Yuppies, trendies, groupie dudes, sports fans, messy little deviants, and all God-fearing humans are shitting lies in our mouths. And we must gulp them down chunk by stinking chunk. Thank you, Master. It's what we deserve. This carnivore intelligence. Everyone is homeless in America tonight. Everyone is damned for 15 minutes. The ancient thread has been severed by the reptiles we carry with us in our cells. The killers that we are, the killers that we must be. Peace and love have failed us. Now they must wear fangs in darkness. Now we must throw fate's final lever and kill everything. Kill everything. Kill everything with art.
I want my 15 minutes of fame. I want it to last 100 years. So pick a number, folks. 1 to 8.
7.
7. Ooh, I was thinking about reading this.
Square root of -1.
Thank you so much.
Imaginary numbers.
Take this off here. This is called Syrian Sites, and it was written when the Syrian difficulties were just beginning and I didn't really understand things. However, whisked away. She was whisked. What does quick and quiet do? Like disappeared did mean without notice? But who wrote it? The paper? Stamp marked the approval? Someone noticed eyes, but who had her in mind to trade her in? They did, wanted her, her brother. An ordinary day, an errand, she and her grocery list, instead of her brother. No, not her. Why? Why? How a mother moans these words. Never saw her bright dark eyes again. No grocery list, nothing but never saw again. Her, well, not alive. They did return the corpse, all of it. I mean, all the parts in one place, one container. Whispers huddled on streets. They got the rose. I wondered about dying in custody, about ferocious crackdown, and disturbing. Her brother wandered, wounded by such a loss, cares to cry himself nearly blind, but soothed by his hands. Broken bodies of protesters are touched, and hungry for him, Syrian security seeks. I connect, SS. Her mother, forced to agree, signs that which in essence reads, was kidnapped and killed by an armed gang. Maybe. I wonder if she thought that that was true after all, even if misleading. One day, groceries disappeared. 19 hacked in pieces in peace. In memoriam, Zeynar Al-Hansni. Okay, 1 through 7.
4.
4. Oh. So this was written with this man in mind. I went to a workshop and he was there. He gave the prompt. This is the poem that Carlos elicited through this prompt. This is called An Advisory Advisement. Advisedly spoken. I was asked, in this living life, what do you need to know? Now, this is what I call a tall order. I mean to say, there are so many considerations to consider. I mean, after all, each person has their own needs, just as each has their own circumstances of birth. Everyone in their own time and place has conditions of life or of sufferance, must deal with history, its problems, peoples, and perspectives. Each culture, its longing, pride, failings, enemies, and more. Then too, you need to know what the earth needs, and it has its ailments and desires, as do each of its animals and plants, for that matter. And why limit this consideration to our world, when there are so many others, galaxies full of life, and others with the potential for more? So I mean to say, think about it. The vast complexity the answer must be comprised of. So the simple question, what do you need to know, does not seem so simple. This then mix in how the question could be read. It could be, what do you need to know? It could be, what do you need to know? Or what do you need to know, and what do you need to know? Each permutation gives one more to consider. So I suspect the answer must be close upon the order of infinity, first squared, then cubed, and so on. So it is a tall order. Maybe not the tallest, but still. So when replying, I thought maybe we should begin with the basics. Take first things first, as my dearly departed mother used to say. And so I think that first and foremost, you need to know love. I mean love with a capital L. Then I'll see second. Okay. Well, maybe it's not so tall in order. Thank you so much. Thank you. Charles is coming up next, and then we'll take our pause that refreshes. Charles?
Is this the first time?
Is this your first time?
It's my first time here.
All right!
That's our tradition.
I think I've gotten to see most of you. I'm a songwriter. Don't flee the room. And I usually come down on Thursday night. And you guys are all welcome on Thursday. You meet a whole other group of people that are here as well. And I'm not going to play the guitar because I think songwriters and poets should mingle more and have sex with each other. But I find the music maybe jarring since no one else is playing. So I'm just going to do two spoken things.
Very good.
First is a joke. You might be able to hear that there's a little bit of Texan in my voice. I went to school at the University of Austin. And I'm not saying it's a party school, but getting that bachelor's degree was the happiest 11 or 12 years of my life. And Texans are generally much taller and bigger and have huge belt buckles and are loud and bossy and braggy. And I moved all the way up to Vermont, where people are very taciturn and very quiet.
Bernie Sanders.
If you ask them if they know the way into town, they go, yeah. Well, would you tell me? Oh. And so this big Texan, he goes up to Vermont. He's got this huge truck with the dual wheels and the cab on and everything else. And he pulls up next to this little farmer in a field, and he's going, "God damn, son, is this your farm? My God, I got a ranch down in Texas. It's so big, I drive across it one day and night, and I drive across it the next day and night, and I get up and drive across it more, and I still don't get to the other end of it." And the Vermont guy goes, "Yeah, I had a truck like that once too." So I don't usually perform this song. Guitar players like to have their guitar down low and their distortion pedal on, but let's see if this works with just the words. Everywhere you look today, suits are buying up the place, in sky-high towers right downtown, through fiber optics underground, driving all the prices up, assessing value with their touch. They cover ass with PR spin. No, it's, I should have looked at the words. They spread it on a chart that flows while they watch the landfill grow. Suits and uniforms, suits and uniforms. Everywhere you look today, suits are buying up the place. They hire lots of guards, try to help themselves feel safe. Suits and uniforms try to keep up the pace. Tanks and guns and bombs and planes, these are uniforms at play. Badges, rank, decorum, honor. When all else fails, get out the armor. Laws and courts seem made of stone. Ask no questions, no one's home. Suits, anyway, suits and uniforms, the chorus again. And then it goes, always telling stories of slavery and pain, politicians plotting for material gain, cuts across cultures, boundaries, borders. What's that smell? It's the New World odor. Colonialism, genocide is prevalent. Check the facts, tell me it's evident. Power corrupts, absolutely malevolent. Don't try to tell me history's irrelevant. Time, human suffering, no. Murder and death, like time, human sufferings, benefit the few and their pampered offspring. They owe us to the grave on account of our birth. And now we're all trapped in the network of network. Suits and uniforms, suits and uniforms. Whether here or overseas, suits have dragged us to our knees. We crave the money and the things it buys us, always chasing higher prices. Ignore the debt, the unpayable debt, at the brand new bank. Yeah, we have the suits to thank.
All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break. This is normally where the feature is, but our feature is not here this evening, so that was pre-arranged, and I was trying to get someone, get her to come, but it's not really healthy for her. So in 10 minutes, we'll be right back, and we'll come back with Clara Sue will bring us back after the break. The Gentle Measures, a wonderful, beautiful San Francisco folk. Give it a little round before we go on. Thank you so much. 3 in the morning.
No, not really.
It's like because it's got the same pierced in that
It's
part.
really
Yeah, exactly.
I have to add, the Polish poet, I want you to write the name there, because I want to mention that you read that. I mentioned your brother David Wells, but I put his name there like that. But printed really nicely, because that was very good. I like that. You should get back and do that more. I really, I love that. And that was your song?
I got into it where
I think of myself as a poet.
Lyrics, they're all okay.
I got it.
Yeah, you have to just give it out. We all like that song. There's no excuse. We liked it.
I got to figure out.
Thank you so much. Really, really, I love that, and I like your presence, and thank you for being here.
You saw that book for sale?
I love the way you editing all the poems. I was wondering if you would like to get off on talking about a TV show or something with me. I just finished a show with you and I didn't sure it's 15 minutes. Yeah. We have half an hour. I do 15 minutes. John Rose and I regretted I don't have David. I was wondering if it would be something like
15 years.
that would be great.
And it finally read his book and it made sense to me. And I started doing invocations. It was like a rebirth or something. I was real sick. I had 3 infections. I wasn't and his piercing work.
I didn't know that till I think it is.
I'm curious. Because I've just heard that at university. Do you have a card?
No, it's your
If you wouldn't mind to here.
I can say where you might
My house is I sidestepped.
It's like me, you know, I have
and I just like to have you on my mailing list.
it's like, you know, it's around.
I liked your work. It's not just because you have a camera. You know. Yeah.
the actual Mr. Baxter.
Oh, I know him. Yeah, on a wheelchair, he looks just like Mr. Baxter.
And I just came down to help him. Oh, cool. Because he's got students and he's not the only one. And so she would that is I only know it's Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm Thursday.
Oh God, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So I get anywhere at night.
I understand. I was a waiter for most of my life.
Yeah, we set up a date, and it's,
But
I
Thursday,
think the last Tuesday of this month.
I can give you time to sign up. And then,
But I'll send you other places.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't really like that.
and then in a couple of days, you'll like cut off pictures that are going to perform in the front.
She says, no,
Tighten it up.
That is so cool.
And so when I just came out of the field, and when I was over there, I would wake up on Friday
but
morning,
to be sure and
10
tell her
to
who
go down to the internet.
I think you need to talk to
And
her.
they have
She said,
That is so cool. I'm just getting into the possibilities of, computer technology for my, art and everything. I'm recovering Ludwig. It's like the 19th century, I'm not even in the 20th, but it's immortality.
so,
Is that real?
definitely get on this, and she will.
My wife got me that in it's like a fake expensive one. Yeah.
Looks like a hospital.
Thank you. I don't even know what it is.
Oh, that's real. That's really cool.
I'll trade you my watch for that.
Never do that because it's a Scorpio.
Oh my
I
God,
have
it's
Saturn and
David.
Scorpio, Saturn and Sun, so also
You had a sun Saturn.
It's really.
yeah, I have a my My sun is in
You know,
Aries,
places like
my moon is in
Newport,
Aries, and my Venus is in Aries, and they're almost all in conjunction with Pisces ascendant, so I'm a nice Scorpio. But,
I know.
You don't have to apologize. You're my favorite people. My mom was an Aries. Some of my best friends.
And the moon's in Aries right now.
Yes, and the moon, another astrologer comes out of it.
And another Aries.
Are you? You wouldn't, you'd be amazed how many people follow astrology.
Okay.
Well, see, what you have, if you have Saturn in Scorpio, you and Dave.
Oh, Saturn return right now.
Yeah.
My moon's in Scorpio. It's very too much Scorpio.
Well, that's a lot of Mars. You know, it's formerly Mars, but I think Scorpio still has Mars. What's your moon?
Scorpio.
Okay, what's your ascendant? I'm sorry.
It's Sagittarius.
See.
So yeah, it's my.
You're out.
The sun's exactly conjunct my moon today.
Hey, Maskin.
So it's like new moon days.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that kids about referencing at the Haymarket Market.
I used to do the astrological charts of all of my students when I looked at a school seriously,
Your
crazy,
people.
unkind,
That's what I do.
short of order kind of kids. And I never ever had to have straight
That's what
Haymarket Market. Sure. My wife is a really like your poetry today.
rather than
She's a
congratulating
political
me for our violence-free
person, much more than me.
got together and used to practice.
And all, she's really, although she would hate the word anarchy.
Yeah,
She hates all
I've done
labels,
stuff like that.
you know, and she won't even take the label
And
of no
people are
label.
amazed at what success I have. But yeah, then they kind of ostracize. But I don't tell them what I do. It's
I hope I come again to this reading, and I'll try to come to the,
Said something that I
to hear the music. You know, I love music. I paint the music, so sometime I'll come and see. I don't do music. I heard about that.
Well, it's jealousy. It's jealousy. It's like I said, it's
I'm trying to memorize.
Yeah, I work in social services and I have no degree.
You plagiarized this from Rand Paul, right?
No, I wrote
People are like,
You know what's going
but I
on.
wrote that
why
one.
do you take analysis?
I don't have any perspective, right?
I just can
I have a bit of perspective.
That's the way his dad at least was just a bit. He was at least likable and sincere. Yeah, so his anti-war thing, but I don't believe in his cause, because if you instituted what he said, you'd slide right into fascism. And I always think that he's a little naive. I don't think his son is naive at all. His son is a Salva version of him. Like W was a Salva version of HW. You know, it's like mean-spirited, little bastards.
That's how it's supposed to be. I dropped it.
Yeah. What's your astrological? Aquarius?
Yeah,
My
that's
wife is
what
Aquarius. Good on you.
It's just like the number crunchers took over. The pharmaceuticals and the government and corporations and you know, that's the academic wing of it. It's only about academics are saying, oh, she's going
We were at somebody talked about the books. We were at the fest, and we got thrown off the stage, basically for smut. It was quite a thing, but mainly we introduced politics, you know, into our sex rant, you know, and we waved dildos. Yeah, we waved dildos and we talked. We put the finger on everybody, and they just went to pieces. I mean, they were throwing stuff. It was actually very fun. They were actually throwing shit at us. That was back, you know.
It's good.
Yeah, Obama broke my heart. I mean, I still am. Yeah, Yeah, I still, you know, Kelly O'Brien, the person who's like the monarch check out Kathy O'Brien.
I'm here.
Yeah, David Mark, I
Very
forget his last name. But,
with my dog.
yeah, that's what they said. They said Bush said when Republicans can't do the New World Order anymore, they'll get a Democrat. That was Bill Clinton. When the Democrats they get a black man. And that's the woman, Hillary. You know, it's like, but it's the same shit as John. I want Elizabeth
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have time to take your seats, I know you have them, but take them and put them somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, say welcome to Land.
Anyway,
I'm going to do applause if no one's listening.
Be quiet, ladies.
Reports and merchants are set in place, and the story's true. I'm here to say because I was driving that Model A. It's got a leaking motor and it's really souped up. That Model A body makes it look like a bucket, 8 cylinders, and use them all at overdrive. It just won't stall. I was out of San Pedro late one night, and moving the stars, they were shining bright. We were driving up Grapevine Hill, past cars like they were standing still. All of a sudden, with a wink of an eye, a Cadillac sedan passed us by. Their mark was made. It's the car for me, but then the big taillights is all you could see. Well, the boys all rid me for being on behind, so I thought I'd make that Lincoln unwind. But to put off the gas and man alive, I shoved it on down to overdrive, wound it up to 110. My speedometer said that I hit top dead. My foot was glued like lead to the floor. That's all there is. There ain't no more. Well, the boys all thought I'd lost my sense, and telephone poles looked like a picket fence. They said, slow down, and I see spots. The lines in the roads looked just like dots. Took a corner, sideswiped a truck, crossed my fingers just for luck. My fingers would click at the guardrail post. The guy beside me was white as a ghost. Well, smoke was rolling out of the back. When I started to gain on that Cadillac, I knew he could catch him. I thought I'd get past, but then, don't you know, I'd be low on gas. Well, there was flames coming from out of the side. You can feel the tension, man, what a ride. I said, look out, boys, I got a license to fly. And that caddy pulled over and let us by. Well, down in the tube, she started to knock him down. She started to rock it. I looked in the mirror, red light was blinking. The cops was after my hot rod Lincoln. And they arrested me, and they threw me in jail, and they called my family to throw my bail. And he said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln.
what a memory on you, Dan.
It's one of my favorite songs growing up. Anyway, so now that you've heard that, you'll hear the tender and gentle mercies of Clara Sue, whose mind ranges the universe far and wide. Clara, a nice, welcoming applause.
Another father poem. My dad is 92 years old, and he's hard of hearing. So this piece is titled Eclipse. Much noise, many notes, many words, much of everything, many, very many words, and too much noise, notes, and verse. He would pay anything to hear again. Words and notes and verse, too much noise. Cup your ears to the calling, the waking, the shaking, lest you are displaced, taken out, shot through the brain by the incessant chatter, street carnivals, babies, insects, doorbells, Beethoven's ninth, electricity, static, atom collisions, and the sweet words she mouthed, gurgling, gut, wind, rain, and fire, each time before leaving. The present, last streak of a dying pitch, the state of present in all its fractured reflections, unbearable absence.
As you said with this, you always need this asking for more. So we got Eddie, then Greg, then Cesar, then Garrett, Karen, Huff, Minnie, Mark, Ambrose, then Bill, the closer.
Oh, you have rearranged my sobriety. Thank you.
Yes, I thought you would appreciate that. So, Eddie, come on up. Give him a nice round. You have a special announcement, don't you?
Oh, yes, I'd like to make an announcement. People in the neighborhood of Haight-Ashbury known Jimmy Flowers, the guy who put all the flowers up and down Hay Street, made these nice little arrangements. Jimmy passed away anyway. Anybody out there also in TV land that knows Jimmy, he's a very special person. He did a lot for the whole neighborhood, brightened it up, and the neighborhood, even all the merchants, they know Jimmy, and they asked me to do something special. I'll do something special for Jimmy Flowers. I hope anybody that has any photographs of him, I know a lot of people do. I may do a big mural of Jimmy, and photographs would help out. But bless his soul, Jimmy Flowers passed away. I found out about it. I have to pass it on to everybody, and everybody who knew him knew his heart. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you. My poem is got turned into a song on an album, and I don't got enough time, so I'm just going to read my poem. This is called, oh my goodness. This is called Dreams of You. This is was turned into a song. I just wanted to show it out a piece of it. Okay, I wrote this poem about a girl that I was with for a very long time. Had my kid, and she passed away of a rare blood disease. I wrote it for her, and I really meant it. She was really sick. If I could have 1,000 dreams and just one would come true, I'll concentrate on one the most, the dream I have of you. I guess it's just my frame of mind. The picture seems so clear. I feel a loss of self-control whenever you are near. I feel the chill that lovers feel when Cupid pulls his bow. And I know the pain one can't explain, to be the only one to know. If I could have 1,000 dreams and just one would come true, I would hold it down with all my might, the dream I have of you. If you could have 1,000